Kiah, let's wrap up with a couple of just real quick stories before we get into some of the questions that we have. You go first.
Yeah. So let me tell you, we've kind of alluded to this, but I read a report that made my head explode. And if you are a frequent listener of this show, you can probably guess the news item. It is that the U.S. Transportation Department is scrutinizing the frequent flyer programs of U.S. Airlines. U.S. Airlines are not banks. And so I was very confused about some of the kind of regulation or violations that they might find. Because it's kind of like bank, it's all weirdly bank adjacent in a way that I think is bad. And I think that, there are some really important distinctions when you kind of apply the principles of, bank regulation to things that aren't banks. And so the DOT is going to look at just...
Yeah, like the U.S. Transportation Department is not exactly a traditional financial services regulator. Keep going.
Okay, but so, I mean, even, the DOT is looking at potential deceptive or unfair practices.
UDAP, they're looking at UDAP.
They're using UDAP on the frequent flyer programs. And I want them to make it so that I don't stay on the runway for 3 hours. And also when Southwest loses luggage for a week, that I'm compensated. That's those are the problems I want the DOT to solve.
Well, the window blowing out of the new Boeing plane, that'd be a good one. I'd fix that. Don't what are you doing with UDAP? This is so weird. Yeah. So they're scrutinizing it right now.
So they're looking at things like the transparency practices for booking award tickets, the transferability of miles, and the notice given before making changes. I bet everyone can guess what led to this investigation. It is probably the Delta controversial devaluation and the outcry, which Delta undid to a certain extent. And so we are talking about something that didn't happen to a certain extent. And that so apparently the DOT is concerned that airlines are changing point systems in a way that's unfair to consumers, including the devaluation. And I think that's so interesting because, again, these are kind of financial financial parallels. And famously, airlines are now, companies that sell frequent flyer miles to banks and then happen to fly planes on the side. That is where they make most of their money. So I guess you could say this is kind of a material practice from their perspective. But I also do just think that this is a total caveat emptor situation. Buyer got to beware. Prices can change. Prices are dynamic. They can change at any time. The airlines are supposed to make money from all of their programs. They're not really supposed to lose money on their point system. And so with the proliferation of websites that have told people how to maximize their redemptions, and airlines, maybe their computer systems aren't smart enough to keep up with how the redemptions work and how, if you're willing to figure out the partner transfers, whatever, if you're willing to do all that, the airline might lose some money and need to kind of correct it every, couple of years. And I just can't believe all U.S. regulator is getting involved in this oddly parallel financial topic when we have just talked about, the the problems that you should be solving and the problems that you are solving. So that's my update. Stay tuned. I'm going to be really upset if they mess with these programs.
That's amazing.